This is a process video on a response to our Byte Me workshop. So first of all, by creating a canvas, we will have to click millimeters 160 by 160 with a resolution of 300 dpi. Now we've got our canvas. It should be blank like this. From this we'll have to create some guidelines for our 8-bit graphics. So by clicking edit, preferences, guides, grids and slices, we can now click on this section here, the grid section, and go on guideline every, and it should be set to 10 millimeters with a subdivision of 1. If not, change it. So that's what it should be set on, and then now we click OK. And from this we have to click view, and then show, and then grid, and this is the grid we should have. This should be all set for our Byte Me, for our 8-bit graphic even. From this we can go to snap to and grid. I've got all of them ticked. Most of them should be ticked already, but if not, click grid. So from this we can now go on to, well, hopefully your rectangle tool should automatically respond to the grid and snap to it, as you can see on this. So I'm just going to do a really simple winking face just to demonstrate the technique. So let me just really quickly fill these in, and as you can see, you can just fill these in simply with a brush tool and a rectangle tool. So once you have your design, you can now go on to the timeline, which you will find on Windows and then timeline, and by creating a new timeline you should come up with this. From this, what we're going to do is simply cut it. So we'll just do it here, and we'll cut that, and that should be our new layer. So from this layer, what we're going to do is just simply delete the bits we don't want or fill in the gaps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bottom eyelid out to show some movement of the eye. So we'll just simply fill that in with the white, and as you can see, it should transition from those two. So now from this we'll go on to the second layer and click cut again, and then we're going to just simply take the top eyelid out, and then it should hopefully look like he's winking. Kind of. But from this I've also found another technique of just creating a very small canvas. Let me see. So I've found out that you can do a 20 pixel by 20 pixel with a 300 resolution, and this is a very small canvas, but what you should be able to do is you should be able to create some pixel art very simply by getting a pencil with a 1 pixel, and as you can see, as you can see, you can make really nice lines without the grid. I'm thinking of using this somehow, just freehand doing it without using the rectangular tool, and just playing around with this rather than using all those grids. I think it's a more simple way of doing it, but as you can see, I believe it's more effective, as the grids sometimes go out of line and maybe sometimes don't work. So I'm gonna attempt to create a animation with using just this technique, and then render sizing it up to a larger scale. Overall, I think of the technique as quite nice, and it's easy to use, and however you produce the image, it always seems effective. And I like that, the fact that however you produce it, it's kind of, it's self-explanatory, and it's just easy to relate to, and it's also very timeless, as I've said in my blog. I feel like the technique is just, it's never going to die. I mean, the most simplest form of art is, well, it's also fine art, but I mean digital art itself. It's just 8-bit graphics, and it's timeless. So the actual technique is fun to use, but I don't know how I'm going to apply it to my work. Um, I feel like maybe I could use it with maybe creating some like etching or something, maybe incorporate it with other workshops. I'm not too sure at the moment, but I will find a way of incorporating it, maybe with some historical aspect or something like that. I mean, that's what I've attempted to do in the actual workshop. I've attempted to kind of relate it to mythology and the Viking eras and Nordic symbols and kind of that sort of thing, and also relating it to my curiosity box. So yeah, that's the process and also my reflection on the actual workshop. So thank you for listening.